Welcome back to the Would You Have Me Weave. I'm Alex.
I'm Laura.
And this is rune video number 4. Yeah, number 4, because we are on the 3rd rune. It honestly throws me off every time because we're off by 1. Because this should be the 3rd video because it's the 3rd rune, but we had a prequel video, so it pushed everything off by 1. So that's why I'm always like 2, 3, 4. So this rune is, so it's spelt Thurisaz, but it's said Thurisaz. And funny story, I was trying to tell someone how to say this, and they looked at me and they're like, "Did you just say Thor's ass?" And I was like, no. But if that helps you remember the name, go for it. Yeah, so I'll insert a picture, probably somewhere around here. The symbol is, it looks like a thorn. It's like the little pointy bit and then the stick. It's supposed to be a representation of Thor and his hammer. So it's supposed to be a very crude, old picture of Mjolnir, Mew Mew, from the Thor movies. That's going to come up here in a second. Or a lot of people see it as representative of an actual thorn on a plant. Yeah, roses or plants, because it looks like a very stylized, pointy thorn. It is, as far as this rune, we're kind of going a little more outside of the whole money and the whole kind of, it's a higher purpose than just something so low on that need scale we were talking about earlier. It's unconscious forces and destruction by natural forces. So this rune can be anything from, and then it's kind of a weird rune, so I'm going to keep going and then kind of compare some stuff because it's a little weird. It can also be sexual related. It can be things like a male's prowess in a relationship. It can mean fertility, either issues or breakthroughs if you're looking to have kids. Yeah, it's FYI, sorry young children and people, but the shape is supposed to be very phallic. Hence the the symbol. So sorry, it's supposed to be male energy, but it can also be aggression in that same vein where it's too much masculinity, almost that negative stereotypical toxicity that we see unfortunately a lot right now, but that can also be prevalent in women. It's not just like a dude thing, it's just toxic masculine energy. There is toxic feminine energy, and it's not what body do you got going on, it's your energy, because you've got both. So it's not are you a girl or are you a boy, it's inside. So this rune can kind of be anything from, so like the thing to really think about with Thurisaz, and it's kind of funny because it's the unconscious, it's also war and aggression, but not for the sake of war and aggression, it's for looking to maintain peace.
Oh,
so it's like your necessary battles, either physically, emotionally, spiritually, to keep balance in a way. The example I really like for this whole rune is actually the first Thor movie. He represents both sides of the rune. He's at the very beginning, he's really aggressive. He's fighting the giants, the Jotunheim. He's just fighting them to fight them. He's like, y'all are garbage, and I'm just gonna fight you, so you're not gonna attack me later on. And then, his dad's like, you are a disgrace and just looking to pick fights. So that's when he banishes Thor. Thor learns his lesson and knows that fighting shouldn't be a thing unless you have something to protect. And then he's like, oh, I get it. So that first movie is a very good, like, male energy, I need to fight you. Oh, male energy, I need to fight you to protect my home. It's not kill you before you kill me, it's I'm now going to defend against you energy versus, attacking before you need to. That's kind of the biggest representation I could see the two halves there. It can also be, there's a lot of other little words that go with that, so you can be reaction to stuff. So again, good or bad, reacting the way you need to react, basically, if you need to fight for, purposes, if you're doing it for good, for bad, whatever. It can also be compulsions. So again, bless you.
Thank you.
Again, that energy of, being aggressive. Are you aggressive appropriately, or are you just aggressive to be aggressive? This kind of goes back to the other rune where we were talking about the bovine and like that. Urus, when we're talking about like they're in your space, take them out, but also don't fight unnecessarily. Like this is very much still kind of here, but then this has a lot of unconscious stuff, romance, sexuality, other things that, go more into the other. And then war is a bigger thing, I think, than other types of space. But a lot of war is about space at the end of the day. It's, I don't have any or I want yours. So that can kind of be a thing where they're connected. Because all the runes kind of ladder into each other. So one rune kind of has to do with the next rune a little bit, and then so on and so forth. And then there are other runes that have to do with later runes. Like some people like using this one also to represent the hammer, so like literal tools. So you can look at like old working with your hand tools, and then a lot of people connect, it's a later rune, but they connect Kenaz. So it's like the next three. It's in the same Futhark chunk, but it's not next to this one. Where that is like the light and like kind of like technology almost and electricity. This one is very like old school. You got a hammer in your hand kind of energy. Also in the same vein, because it has to do with Thor, it can represent lightning. So if you're looking to do something that needs a good jolt of energy, this is a good rune. You are to look at it enthusiastically. I was reading about how a lot of people are afraid of Thurisaz because it's so aggressive. And people don't automatically want to work with something so aggressive. I was reading that the good way to handle this one is just to approach it with enthusiasm. So it doesn't so you approach it with your good energy so it doesn't turn bad, basically. So you need to overpower it in a way like, hey, I need you to be protective. I don't need you and your garbage. Like, that's a really bad way to say it.
Lay down the law.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, you gotta set intent when you're working with this one. With any, but especially with things that are more aggressive, for sure. Along with the lightning, it is a very powerful return to sender, if any of y'all are into that kind of stuff. Be careful, because, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, whatever, if you're already sending me bad juju, like, why are you not prepared to get it back? But this can manifest it stronger than expected. So if someone was just after you, I don't really know how to word it in a non-bad way, but if someone was trying to, I don't know, if someone was trying to steal your job, right? And you send it back with this kind of energy and you do it correctly, it could, like, put them on the streets. Like, it could just expand to the point where...
So, it's more of the idea of return, like, people say, like, return threefold,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. It's return, but...
Yeah, like...
kind of return with extra.
Yeah, one of the sites I was reading, he said it was basically explosive energy when it went back. So, I get the whole, if you were going to mess with me, I'm going to mess with you thing. Just be very careful with that.
So it's a blow up in your face return.
Mm-hmm. So, just be wary. The other thing Thurisaz stands for is, I don't know if I'm saying this right, the Thurisaz, which were the giants. Which Thor was always fighting giants, which kind of was represented in the movie, which the Jotunheim, which was where Loki is from in that movie, were just giant creatures. Now, in original mythology, they were a little different. They were basically just big, negative things that were always looking to fight. So kind of this energy of this just aggression. And the way I liked it being explained was that Thurisaz is the wanting to expand the consciousness of the universe. So that was also a thing that was kind of brought up in the second Thor movie, and we're going to have a lot of weird examples here, when the Dark Elves were looking to return the universe back into darkness. It's kind of like that same thing, like, we're already having the light of consciousness of all this energy, technology, etc., and the giants, or the Dark Elves in that instance, but it was kind of the same concept, want to go back to how things were. So, it's very just the repression of information, of wisdom, of consciousness, kind of just like sealing in the universe almost, without it going out into the other. Sorry. So back to the consciousness thing, it was more like, so put effort into living is kind of the end all kind of message on that end of the rune. So a lot of these messages are so diverse that it's kind of all over the place. Sorry about that. But you really, when you're asking a question of the runes, it is, you want to be very, very, very specific. So, like, if, going back to the romance thing, if you're looking to have a kid, or, you know, your fella, or whoever, like, the male going on is having issues, and you're asking about that, and Thurisaz comes up, then you know, oh, that's the romance side of Thurisaz, not the unconscious, social, you know, knowledge kind of thing. Like, they're very different, so you have to know what you're asking, so you know what this is telling you, because it can mean all kinds of stuff. The other thing I was reading that I thought was interesting, it was in my book, and I just reread it currently, was that they thought that this symbol today didn't really mean Thor fighting giants, because olden times Thor protected humans. That was kind of one of his big things. He didn't kill humans, he didn't really fight humans, because gods didn't really fight against humans. They kind of helped protect them from other beings, or they didn't get involved. Like, they were just there. They didn't really, like, go to war against people, though, like, because they would win, like, honestly. But even though they weren't immortal gods, they were still gods. They weren't, you know, our level. But nowadays, a lot of authors think we might represent the giants, because we're so toxic to our environment, that they're thinking that that's why we're having a lot of natural disasters and a lot of other things that we weren't having, global warming, kind of higher levels of mass destruction, which a lot of people think, yeah, you know, like, maybe we'll end up on Mars or something, but there's the other side of, we're all just going to go extinct, and the planet eventually, if it doesn't get blown up, will fix itself. So, it's like, you know, where's the balance? So at the end of this is very much balanced in a war situation, like us versus nature, us versus each other, us versus higher energies, you know, governments fighting, all this stuff is Thurisaz. So, like I said, it's a little higher on the scale than where I'm living, what I'm buying. But, yeah, it can mean so many different things, and that's kind of one of the more important things about these videos is, if you go to do rune readings, do a lot of research, know what you're getting into for sure, and then know what you're asking, because you don't want to get some kind of crazy out there answer and your question was just like, what's my day gonna be today? Like, you need something a little more to it, because I'm gonna bring it up briefly, but I did a rune reading for her.
It's my first ever rune reading.
A first serious one. I think I did one like a long time ago, back when we lived together.
Oh, really?
But that
I don't
was
remember that one. But
years ago. But yeah, because I would, right after I'd made my set, I think I was practicing on you, and I think I might have done it to Christina once.
Oh.
I don't know. It's been a long time. Anyway, so, because we've been talking about how tarot and runes are divination, but they're very different. And I went to go read for her, and it was a little frightening.
It was a tad bit unsettling, yeah.
Yeah, like, it was just like,
Like big things, big scary things.
Yeah, it was like one of like the craziest readings I'd ever even done on somebody. And then I kept kind of, because I don't do them often, but we've talked about this a little bit, where people would just toss the runes, whatever landed face up was what you read. And so I did that for I don't do it often, but that's what I did for her. And it was like 7 runes across. It was a big reading. It was not like a 3-pull. And it was just wild. And I kept like, okay, how does this relate to this? And anytime I clicked something, I'd get like shivers. And I was like, oh, okay, so that means this. And I was like, Jesus, like, I looked at my runes like later that day and I was like, did y'all have to go so out there? Because that was frightening, even to me. And I was just like, Jesus, y'all.
Well, you're completely drained afterwards.
Yeah, I was like, done. And I haven't even done a reading since then. I haven't even worked with my runes since then because that was wild.
Well, maybe they just really needed to tell me. Like, when's the next time I'm ever going to get another rune reading? They like, you got to get in while we got her.
I don't know, man, but it was that, and I think it was probably just like, see, we're different than tarot. Like, it was such a in-your-face nana moment almost, and I was like, behave, like, come on, children. But yeah, so I think any form of divination you need to kind of approach with some form of respect or a healthy dose of, not fear, but a healthy dose of awareness, for sure. Because you don't want to like just jump in and start doing stuff and then, not be ready for things when they get told to you. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps me up for today, because we kind of touched on all the crazy points. Sorry for jumping around everywhere so much. My brain's a little hoo-hoo today. But yeah, so this is number 4. We will catch y'all in another 2 weeks for number 5 and go from there. If y'all have any questions, any comments, concerns, leave them down below. We do have an Instagram. I'm going to start promoting this because I've never had one before, so this is kind of exciting for me. We're going to start hashtagging stuff on there. So every time we post a video, we're going to try and post a picture sometime before that so people know what's up. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, comment down or hashtag us and we'll figure something out. But alright, bye guys.
Bye.